Collect it. That's tokens, £4.80, okay? Now, here's where the scam comes in. So, I am going to show you my first ever empty on a slot machine. My friend ran me from Liverpool and said, "Do you know where there's a freak machine called 777 Heaven?" So I said, "Yeah, I go on a bingo hall near me called the Mecca at Lambeth Road in Salford." He said, "How many's in there?" I said, 8. I said, "I'm on my way down." He said, "We're going to make at least £10,000, okay, get ready." I was like, "Yeah, whatever." I was 18 years old, okay. 12 at 14.40 and 60 pence. Jackpot again. And that was it. And you could do this. And you could do this until it emptied. And you press collect. So basically, every single credit is a jackpot. Now, don't forget years ago, tokens you could spend behind the bar. They all had similar companies. So I am going to show you my first ever empty on a slot machine. My friend ran me from Liverpool and said, "Do you know where there's a freak machine called 777 Heaven?" So I said, "Yeah, I go on a bingo hall near me called the Mecca at Lambeth Road in Salford." He said, "How many's in there?" I said, 8. I said, "I'm on my way down." He said, "We're going to make at least £10,000, okay, get ready." I was like, "Yeah, whatever." I was 18 years old, okay. Now this was the empty. So I'm going to zoom in, okay. I'm going to be able to see. The picture quality is not good on this Redmi phone. So basically the empty was, you have to play it in one credit at a time. Now these freak machines years ago were 20 pence a go, even though they were only £4.80 jackpot, they were in tokens. I'm going to turn the sound up in a minute when I've done this talk, okay? So what the scam was you have to get box blue 7s or box red 7s, 3 of them in a win line, under the middle reel counts nowadays, years ago. And they were the same. The blue 7s were £4.80 and the red 7s were £4.80. And what you do is you have to play it in one credit at a time. You've got to have no credits in. What you need to do is you get £4.80, you press collect, you take it out. And then instead of putting in 1 pence piece, which on my laptop is number 9 because this is an emulation, so it's not a real freak machine, but it is exactly the same. It's just emulated onto a computer. You can't win money, it's for free. So basically now what we're going to do now is, I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. We're going to nudge down that blue 7. It's going to pay a jackpot tune. It's going to count up in a win bank to £4.80. We're going to collect it out, and when it's collected out, instead of putting in 20 pence to see if it's held, we're going to put in 10p, press collect. 10 pence, press collect. 10p, press collect. And then all of a sudden it can take anything up to 30 10p's, maybe more. What's going to happen is the middle old button's going to flash. You put another 10 pence in to make it into a full credit, which is 20 pence. The old buttons are not lit up like they are now, they're dead. I'm going to see if you can see what the scam is, okay? I'm going to turn the volume up, and I'll turn it down again in a minute when I need to, okay? So now we're going to nudge down this middle reel and get £4.80. So I'm going to count up in that bank now at £4.80. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to collect it out into the pay tray. Here you press collect, okay? You see the collect button there is pressed. Collect it. That's tokens, £4.80, okay? Now, here's where the scam comes in. Now, the whole buttons are not lit up, okay? Now, here's the scam. If you put 20 pence in that now, the scam cannot work. If you put £1 in it, the scam cannot work. The scam happens with this. You have to put 10p in, which is half a credit, and it gives you the option to take the 10p back out. And this was very, very noisy years ago, and it didn't take long for the bingo owners and the arcades to cut onto it, or the bars. Because all you were doing is this. Now you imagine being in a bar. 8 is like putting a 10 pence piece in the machine, so you go, listen, 10 pence, press collect. And did you hear that? 10 pence, press collect. And all you're looking for, all of a sudden that mid-low button will flash. And when it flashes, you have to put in another 10 pence to make it into 20p. And it will make a full credit, and the whole buttons are not lit up, but you just got to press it, and you'll hear vid, 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 press start, another 480. It's like a trick. So here we go. Just keep your eye on that middle low button, okay? Like I say, it can take a while. You see what I'm doing? Now it's easy to make a mistake for me because I'm on my laptop here, okay? And I'm trying to do this. So I'm pressing the 8 button. So it's so easy to nearly press the 9 button is a 20 pence. So, right, we'll try and go a bit faster, okay? See if you can see this whole button flash. Let me zoom out a little bit. Let's go a bit faster. You're waiting for that middle low button to flash, okay? There it is. Do you see that? Now what you do is, okay, you're going to put another, you press 8 again for 1 credit. And what's going to happen is it's going to make it into a full credit. Right, so now the start button's flashing. Now, there's no whole buttons lit, isn't it? Now listen, okay? Did you hear that? Listen. And watch what happens. There's no whole buttons there. Press start and the reels will freeze. Watch. Another £4.80. So this was the very, very first scam I ever did. And it was thanks to my friend from Liverpool, like I say, he rang me up and just said, you know where there's a 7 having? I said, I have 8 of these at a bingo, it works on 7 jackpot. Now what's going to happen now is I'm going to press collect. Paying out tokens. Like I say, it's an emulation, but this was the actual real freak machine. Now we do it all over again, right? So if I put £1 in that now, it wouldn't only press start, put 20p in, but it doesn't work. What you need to do is press the number 8, which is like a 10 pence piece. Put a 10 pence piece in there. You're looking for that old button to flash again. If you missed it the first time, keep your eye on them. Keep your eye. Wait a minute. Keep your eye. There, okay, on them old buttons. The middle one. Ready? We're going to go again. 10p collect. Sometimes it can do it first time. Sometimes it used to flash and I used to miss it. So all I'm doing is putting 10p in, pressing collect. Imagine this, I was 18 years old and I did actually make £10,000 out of this so fast. We got nationally barred out of every casino, every bingo hall in the country, all ranked leisure. Every one of them, all ranked leisure. Every one of them. There it is, see the flash? Now you put in another 10p. Make it into a full credit, the old buttons aren't flashed. Now watch what happens, we're going to zoom out and show you, okay? Because the picture quality is really bad when you zoom in. You see that? The old buttons aren't held on it. I've got a full credit in. Watch what happens when I press the old buttons. You ready? Listen. It's like you're holding. Press start. £4.80. When again you've tricked it, and then before that's £14. How much is that? 4, 8, 12. 12 at 14.40 and 60 pence. Jackpot again. And that was it. And you could do this. And you could do this until it emptied. And you press collect. So basically every single credit is a jackpot. Now, don't forget years ago, tokens you could spend behind the bar. They all had similar companies like LeisureLink and Paymaster, Stretton Leisure. So they were only really 3 big companies. So I think, yeah, I'm sure that the ambassador at Salford was Paymaster. Now Paymaster, if I remember rightly, worked in all bass pubs. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, really good machines. There was a lot of money to be made, because all that they had in the pubs years ago was these projects. There weren't many different machines out. They had Cloud9s, which we'll do again. That was my second empty, but This was my very first introduction, and it's thanks to a mate of mine from Liverpool who still mates to this day, Scouse. Yeah. So basically, I had, like I say, I remember I was working at a bakery, and I was on £64 a week. And like I say, he rang me up and he said, "Do you know what any of these are?" And I used to go to the bingo at 14 because I had a fake ID, and I had a full-grown beard at 14. I was an early starter to shaving. Anyway, I knew where they was, and I went straight into this bingo. And within like a day and a half, I had 10 grand, and another 10 grand, and it was just, I was so lucky. So this is the start of my freak machine journey. So I've done my poker journey, which started at 26, and now this journey, which started when I was 18. So I had this for 8 years. So yeah, this is just a little insight, another little story. Sorry if the picture quality is not good, but basically, I'm sure you can understand what's going on here. But yeah, what times, memories. And there was quite a few people doing these. Like I say, there was enough to go around for everybody. They were a very popular machine. They also worked on 7 jackpot. Now the good thing about these as well is the box 7s were 480, the red 7s were 480, and they were only tokens like you've seen. But if you took the mixed box 7s like blue, red, or red, blue, they were £2.40 cash. So what you do is you empty all the tokens out, and as you see, every credit you put into every 20 pence, you profit in £4.60 every time. Now the good thing years ago was, you could go into any bar years ago and say, "Can you change me £15 of tokens?" and they would give you £15 cash in a lot of places. Some places would say, "Oh, I'm sorry, we've got no more cash left off the engineer, the collector. He's only left us £100 worth of cash for the tokens this week." But the good thing was you could buy anything with them. So if you was going out with your mates at a weekend, say for a beer, you'd just say, you'd either go in yourself and spend whatever you spend on your beer in it. But if you weren't going out, because obviously we were travelling all over the country doing these, they were everywhere. And once you become what you call on top, once the landlord or the bingo manager had realised what you were doing, you had to leave that part of the UK and you had to go to another part of the UK. So then what you'd do is, you'd say to your friends, you had all these tokens, £1,000 to pay him, that's £1,000 of leisure link. So you'd ring your mate and you say, you know he's working, he's a working mate. "Where you going this week?" "And I'm going up Manchester." "How much do you reckon you're going to spend?" "Probably about 150 quid. "Well, I'll tell you what, here's £150 worth of tokens. You give me £100 cash, you're going to save yourself 50 quid, and I can get rid of my tokens. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone. You're happy, I'm happy." And that was it, and that's how we worked, and it worked, an absolute dream. So yeah, this is just a little insight to what I used to do is, and then like I say, what you used to do is as well, you take all the tokens out, you used to come up to CL, which meant cash flow, and then you take the £2.40 win, and it'll pay out £2.40 cash, and you'd empty all the cash, and also you'd empty all the 10p's out as well. Because when it went cash low on tokens, after that it went cash low on pounds, and then it paid out all the 10p's. You were always looking about, don't get me, I don't know, don't quote me on this, but I reckon it was about 60, 70 quid, maybe more, with the tokens included. And they didn't take very long, you know what I mean? So, there you go, my first ever emptier. Enjoy, people. Okay guys, so what we're going to do now is, I'm going to do a load of jackpots every time I get a flash. I'm going to speed it up, save you guys time. I'm going to pause this now. For you guys, that was 5 seconds. For me, it was about 30 seconds. It's just flash. We're going to put another 10 pence in. As you can see, the old buttons aren't flashing, but listen. Press start, another jackpot. So basically, it's every 20 pence is £4.80. Remember, you've got to have 1 credit in at a time. So press select. Tokens. Now what would happen is like I say, you take out about 30 quid and it comes up cash flow. And then we go the same again. I'm going to show you one more time. So the 8 on this is like putting a 10 pence in real life, okay? So I'm going 10p. Sometimes it can do it first spin. Collect. 10p. Collect. 10p. Collect. I'll let you see the flash one more time, okay? And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and find a 7 jackpot. I I always found actually that the red box sevens work quicker. Now you imagine years ago, you're in a bingo, and the manager's seen you walk around this machine, the next machine, the next machine. So you've gone round. There's normally 8 of these in a bingo hall back in the day, when I was 18. You imagine that 10p keeps bouncing out in that tray. So then what the clever Jimbo work out, just get yourself a balaclava, something soft, and put it in the bottom of the payout tray. There you go. Did you see the flash? Another credit in, another 10p piece in, make it into a full credit. The old buttons now, they're not lit, as you can see. You see here, 1 minute. The old buttons are not lit. Wait a minute, where are they? Here, old buttons, back camera this. And then you just go, you ready for the sound? Reel 1, reel 2, reel 3. Press start, watch the wind bank. The reels stick, they just stick. £4.80 again. One last time, okay? Press collect. There's the payout tray like it was back in the old days in the arcades. So that is what I did for a living for 8 years. Great life. Made a lot of money. Got lucky, was in the right place, knew the right person at the right time. And then, like I say, there's your payouts. The red 7s are 4.80, but you need to get the box symbols. It doesn't work on the singles. So if you have a look at these reels, you've got. I'm going to show you. Okay, I'm going to play this off. So see what happens now when you put £1 in. You try and press the old buttons, and they don't hold. Look, nothing. Press start, and it's a normal spin. So I'll show you something here now. Okay. So on this machine, you've got their single 7s. Now they're no good. They still pay £4.80, but to do the answer, it takes too many 10p's to collect in and out, so you have to do it on the boxes. I did notice though that the box reds were better. And there's a box symbol. You see? So you need to get 3 of them red ones boxed, or 3 blues boxed. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you that. See, if you get 3 mixed 7s, it's £1.20, but if you get boxes, it doubles it to £2.40. Sorry if this camera's really bad, I know it is, but I just wanted to get this empty out there because I've only just realised that this 7-7 and 7 Heaven was on fruit, Desert Island Fruit, so I've just downloaded it and I've absolutely loved this today. It brought back so many memories. I made so much money. Got barred out of nearly every place in the country, but wow, some of the best memories of my life. So lucky, like I say, to have this information. Thank you, Scouse, I always appreciate. I'll never forget that day when we first did this first one. Oh my god.